love playing nice pool. He's just so manufactured and so nice that, you know, by the time his head is just blown clean off of his body, you're breathing a slight...
Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
There's a certain allure that surrounds celebrities who appear charming, witty, and flawlessly in sync. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have long seemed like the perfect power couple. Beautiful, talented, and brimming with playful banter. However, beneath the glossy red carpet appearances and the social media jokes, there are rumors and allegations that paint a more complicated picture. What if this seemingly impeccable duo isn't quite as spotless as the world thinks? What if there's a world of controversies, personal agendas, and bold accusations brimming just under that polished surface? Welcome to a story that blends glamour with pettiness, humor with bite, and success with more than a dash of ruthless ambition. We're about to delve into the legal dramas, unexpected jabs, and behind-the-scenes tension that could make anyone reconsider the nature of this Hollywood power pair. Each section will reveal details some fans have never even heard of, adding fresh angles to an image that's become larger than life. By the end, you might just see Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds in an entirely new light. Buckle up, because we're about to pull back the curtain on a duo that isn't afraid to stir controversy. And we're diving right into the thick of it, starting with one of their most provocative moments on live television.
It's really interesting. A lot of them are just not looking at him at all, even though he's standing and talking. That's really interesting.
When Ryan Reynolds walked onto the stage for Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary special, he made it seem like just another one of his funny appearances, cracking jokes, flashing that signature grin, and blending right into SNL's comedic atmosphere. Yet nobody could have anticipated the remark he was about to drop. In a seemingly casual aside, he quipped about how things were going great, then cheekily asked, "Why, what have you heard?" It was just enough of a hint to remind everyone of a brewing storm. The high-profile feud and legal dispute involving Blake Lively and her co-star Justin Baldoni.
How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
The audience laughed, some out of genuine amusement, others out of that awkward tension that arises when a comedian touches a raw nerve in public. Actors like Kevin Costner, who was seated behind Reynolds, barely hid a look of disapproval, casting a stoic shadow over the moment. Many viewers at home couldn't help but wonder if Reynolds was belittling serious allegations by turning them into a casual punchline. After all, it's not just any feud. It's a potential legal firestorm where Lively accused Baldoni of serious misconduct, only to find herself and her husband slammed with a $400 million defamation countersuit. Here's what makes the situation even more intriguing. The allegations involve everything from sexual harassment claims against Baldoni to accusations that Lively and Reynolds weaponized their star power to tarnish his career. And with a trial set for March 2026, it's no small matter. Some fans insist that Reynolds' joke was merely his tongue-in-cheek style. Others argue it trivialized a matter that is no laughing affair. Before we dig deeper into the more extensive layers of this story, consider this. If you're finding these revelations intriguing, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel right now. We want to know your take on everything swirling around Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. So drop a comment telling us whether you think their brand of humor is harmless fun, or a sly way to belittle serious issues. This channel is all about unfolding Hollywood's hidden narratives, so stay tuned, because there's plenty more to uncover.
Where in God's name is the intimacy coordinator?
Guilty on all charges.
Can we just be done?
Ooh, we're just getting started.
For many people, Ryan Reynolds' defining role is the wisecracking, fourth-wall-breaking Deadpool, a character who can take aim at anything and make it sound like a punchline. When fans heard rumors about Reynolds' involvement in a Deadpool and Wolverine crossover, excitement soared. Yet one development had the internet abuzz for a far more controversial reason: the introduction of a character named Nice Pool. At first glance, Nice Pool is a comedic wink. He sports a man bun and parades around with self-proclaimed feminist ideals. But his exaggerated mannerisms and lines were suspiciously reminiscent of Justin Baldoni, who's been well known for his real-life advocacy for men exploring healthy masculinity. In the film, Nice Pool makes innocently objectifying comments about Lady Pool, who's portrayed by Blake Lively, praising her post-baby appearance and tagging on, "I identify as a feminist." It's the sort of banter that might come off as a parody of Baldoni's public persona, including his association with the Man Enough brand and his emphasis on gender issues.
He just had a baby too, and can't even tell.
I don't think you're supposed to say that.
That's okay. I identify as a feminine.
What really struck fans and critics alike was the sequence in which Deadpool uses Nice Pool as a human shield outside a flower shop. A suspiciously pointed reference to the setting of It Ends With Us, the film at the center of Lively and Baldoni's dispute. Baldoni's legal team quickly took notice, with his attorney hinting at further action for what they perceived as an intentional mockery, especially since it arrived in the midst of an already complex legal back and forth. Critics of Reynolds have argued that if he truly supported his wife through her claims, he wouldn't turn her alleged harasser into comedic fodder. Yet to those who love Reynolds' irreverent style, it might just be more trademark banter. Regardless, it's undeniable that introducing a thinly veiled Baldoni parody in a major motion picture only added fuel to the already roaring controversy. Whether this cameo becomes another legal angle or remains a darkly humorous aside is yet to be seen, but it certainly illustrated how far Reynolds might go to poke at someone he believes wronged his wife, even if that poke comes off as petty to outsiders.
We don't test on animals. We test on men.
While Reynolds' comedic jabs often take the spotlight, Blake Lively herself isn't shy about stirring up conversation. One notable example came when she promoted her beverage line, Betty Buzz, with the line, "We don't test on animals, we test on men." She punctuated that statement by patting a shirtless male model as though he were a pet, instructing him to drink up. On one hand, it was an attempt to flip the narrative on objectification, lampooning how advertisements often portray women. On the other hand, many viewers cringed at the role reversal, calling it tone-deaf and even hypocritical. This wasn't the first time Lively's playful acts raised eyebrows. She once crafted a birthday cake for her baby boy that resembled a pair of female breasts.
Birthday cakes always have a little bit of a sense of humor. For my baby, I just did a giant set of I feel like will haunt him for life. But what do they want at one? Like, he can't declare what he wants.
Yeah.
So boobs.
Something that definitely got her name swirling in gossip columns. While it might have been a harmless joke to some, critics pointed out that Lively sued Justin Baldoni for making an offhand remark about her weight, alleging body shaming on his part. To them, it hinted at a double standard. Joking about body parts and objectifying men is apparently fair game, but referencing Lively's own physique crosses a line worthy of major legal action. Fan opinions on these controversies are far from uniform. Supporters of Lively claim she's simply championing her rights while also trying to challenge a male-dominated industry with her humor. Skeptics argue that her approach often feels more self-serving than truly empowering. Both sides can agree on one thing, though. Lively knows how to make a statement, controversial or otherwise. It's also worth noting that her beverage line ad had the blessing and active promotion of Ryan Reynolds, who is no stranger to provocative marketing after his widely publicized investment in aviation gin. The two have built a brand on witty comebacks and outlandish social media exchanges. But as we peel back these layers, it starts to look like there's more behind the scenes than just whimsical jokes and cameo appearances. If the Betty Buzz ad was meant to stand out, it certainly succeeded, though not necessarily for the right reasons.
Paid the show choir director to put me in the choir because I can't sing or dance to save my life.
But you were lead in that choir,
I went in there, I was like,
Away from the cameras and comedic sketches, there's another side to Blake Lively that her critics find especially troubling. A willingness to undermine or overshadow her colleagues when it suits her ambitions. Long before the It Ends With Us scandal erupted, Lively had already admitted to influencing people's perceptions of co-star Penn Badgley during the Gossip Girl days. In a decade-old interview, she recalled being fearful of how their real-life relationship would be viewed by producers, eventually leading her to poison everybody's opinion of him on set. Some might brush that off as a youthful mistake, but the pattern, her detractors argue, didn't stop there. According to Baldoni's countersuit, Lively used her influence to exclude him from certain promotional events and pressured executives to sideline him. Baldoni's attorneys even mentioned text messages that allegedly backed these accusations. In essence, Lively stands accused of orchestrating a behind-the-scenes smear campaign that aligns suspiciously well with her public statements and legal claims. Equally telling is her well-documented desire for creative control, like the fiasco with the rhythm section. Production was halted when Lively sustained a serious hand injury, causing costly delays. Still, she returned to demand more say in costume design, script changes, and marketing angles, all the while pushing the film in directions that apparently didn't pan out at the box office. Critics say it's symptomatic of her approach. If she can't control an environment, she'll make waves to ensure she does eventually get that power. To be fair, there are those who champion Lively for refusing to be a mere accessory in Hollywood's machine. They see her involvement in script notes and production decisions as a sign of a woman taking charge in an industry that often minimizes female voices. However, detractors counter that genuine collaboration and inclusive creativity are one thing. Commandeering the reins for personal vendettas is quite another. And once again the question arises, is this fierce drive just her way of breaking the mold? Or is it evidence of someone who's willing to step on colleagues to ensure she gets what she wants? Few moments shine a brighter spotlight on Lively's sometimes precarious social dynamics than her interactions regarding her pregnancies. Consider how she jokingly bantered with late-night host Seth Meyers, playfully deflecting his congratulations by quipping, "What makes you say that?"
The other way, congratulations.
what makes you say that?
The shark told me.
You know you don't have to say that.
This moment came off as lighthearted, a typical celebrity flirting with the question of impending motherhood. But compare that to her encounter with a Norwegian journalist named Cherry Fla, who offered a congratulations on Lively's little bump, only to be met with a cutting remark, "Congrats on your little bump," implying that Flaw herself might be pregnant. The situation spiraled when it became clear Flaw wasn't pregnant and was allegedly navigating her own fertility struggles. Suddenly, Lively's brand of humor wasn't looking so playful. It was borderline cruel, especially if Flaw had never mentioned anything about expecting a child. Skeptics feel this reveals a pattern of selective courtesy, where Lively can be gracious and witty with big-name hosts, but also abrupt and hurtful to those she may not deem as relevant or important. It's one thing to keep your personal life private. It's another to weaponize your words in ways that sting unsuspecting people. Once again, fans are divided. Some argue Lively can't always be expected to know someone else's personal challenges. Others contend that it doesn't take psychic abilities to avoid mocking someone's body or making them feel self-conscious. When you lay out all these controversies, her rumored undermining of coworkers, her controlling streak, and her unpredictable responses to well-intentioned comments, a pattern emerges. Lively seems to lean into confrontation or sarcasm whenever she feels threatened or annoyed. Whether this is intentional or just an unfortunate byproduct of her comedic style, the effect is the same. It leaves behind a trail of offended or puzzled individuals who question whether this Hollywood darling is as sweet as she appears on magazine covers.
What show is she on?
No, not for me. Not for me.
Was Joy rude to you, Nicole?
So mean to me. Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, not great to us.
Ryan Reynolds, for his part, has built a reputation on razor-sharp humor that leaps fearlessly over conventional boundaries. Fans cheer him on for daring jokes about fellow stars like Hugh Jackman, an ongoing comedic feud that has fueled countless social media posts. Yet some believe Reynolds' brand of wit occasionally verges on mean-spirited. One prime example was when he poked fun at Jackman's personal life, making light references to real struggles, including a very public divorce. To supporters, it's just Deadpool being Deadpool. To critics, it's turning someone's heartbreak into comedic fodder. And these jabs aren't reserved only for longtime friends. T.J. Miller, who played Weasel in the Deadpool films, once recounted an incident where Reynolds, still in character, delivered lines so pointed they felt like real insults against Miller's role in the franchise.
After he got super famous from the first Deadpool, then, yeah, things kind of changed. I think he was like, see, you guys see, would I work with him again? No. I would not work with him.
He described it as a deeply uncomfortable moment that blurred the line between comedic improvisation and actual hostility. Miller later revealed he wouldn't want to work with Reynolds again if that behavior persisted. Then there are reports from reality television personalities like the Jersey Shore cast, who claimed they were snubbed by Reynolds, leaving them feeling humiliated and brushed off. These anecdotes collectively suggest that Reynolds occasionally pushes comedy past acceptable limits, spurning people who don't find his barbs particularly funny. The consistent pattern, whether it's T.J. Miller feeling slighted or Kevin Costner looking less than amused, raises the question: is his comedic style a clever brand of honesty, or is it a cover for consistent disrespect?
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star, and this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out, and I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable.
If you've been captivated by these behind-the-scenes glimpses into how Ryan's humor impacts others, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Reynolds' edgy remarks are part of what makes him so unique, or are they indicative of a deeper issue? Your perspective matters, and we're eager to see which side of the line you stand on. Stick around, our final section will bring everything together, and there's a lot to reflect on when it comes to this couple's public persona versus their off-camera actions.
Process to take over the movie and used her PR people
To sue Blake Lively too?
into oblivion, Megan.
Did that on purpose. I did no such thing.
What we've seen is a cascade of stories that cast Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds in a more complicated light than the smiling, joke-cracking images typically projected at movie premieres or in social media posts. From the SNL remark that trivialized a brewing legal war to a film cameo that seemingly mocked a real-life rival, each instance hints at a knack for weaponizing humor in ways that can sting. Blake's controversies, ranging from provocative ads and unusual birthday cakes to alleged sabotage on film sets, show a woman who wants to control her narrative at almost any cost. Meanwhile, Reynolds' unfiltered wisecracks and dismissive interactions paint a picture of someone who might thrive on crossing lines most people wouldn't dare approach. Still, it's crucial to remember that public perception can be skewed. Celebrities operate under immense scrutiny, and comedic missteps can become disproportionately magnified. Lively and Reynolds remain beloved by countless fans for their authenticity, philanthropic efforts, and willingness to poke fun at themselves. Perhaps their brand is precisely about fearlessly saying what others won't. Or maybe these examples illustrate a darker streak behind the jokes, one that prioritizes winning the social game over genuine kindness.
Ryan and I don't really have friends.
Yeah.
So...
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Aw, our life sucks.
Ultimately, the truth might lie somewhere in between. They could be a couple whose comedic impulses occasionally misfire, leaving bruised feelings and tarnished reputations in their wake. Or they could be savvy stars playing the Hollywood game to perfection, understanding that a bit of controversy never hurts. The real question is whether the public will continue to embrace their edgy persona or eventually decide these antics cross an unforgivable line. So, where do you land on this? Are they just misunderstood personalities with a flair for extreme humor? Or are these controversies valid signals of a more troubling pattern? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Whatever your stance, one thing's certain. These two know how to keep the world talking. Stay curious, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next video, where there's always more to uncover about the secret lives of Hollywood's most intriguing stars.